Good evening, everybody. Wow, I can't believe I'm even pulling this off tonight. Thanks for everybody for tuning in to Around the ATL, the first episode in 4 months. So just to briefly kind of introduce everything. So if you've never watched Around the ATL, never heard of Around the ATL before, a few years ago, I decided to start my own program to coincide with my radio, IMTN Worldwide Radio, which I've had for years. And I just decided to branch off into different facets of broadcasting, I guess you could say, and one of them was sports. So I started Around the ATL, which specializes in talking about Atlanta sports and sports in the state of Georgia, professional and college. Okay, so this will let you know that. So if you ever want to listen to past episodes, you can go to the website, IMTN Worldwide Radio, and all the episodes are there. That you can listen to off of Spotify or iHeartRadio or Amazon Music, all that kind of good stuff. And also, of course, the stream, which is on YouTube, IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube. So you can go and check out the shows there. I have some articles posted on the IMTN Worldwide Radio website. I guess I can post that real quick for everybody. Haven't written anything in a while, and I'm still actually trying to catch up. So here's the other part of why I haven't been around for a while. If you've noticed that I haven't been broadcasting for the last 9 months, been battling some health things going on, and it was cancer related. And so finally I found out that I do not have cancer. And so now I'll probably be on a little bit more than I used to be, because, you know, if you ever have had a family member that have cancer in the family, I myself have had a few family members unfortunately passed from cancer, including my father, my aunt. So when I first got word that I possibly could have something, it was pretty terrible, let's just say that. It's something that I couldn't really just erase necessarily. So things I was usually doing, I stopped them for the most part. All I did was work, and I somehow was able to work every day. I still don't even know to this day how I did that over the last 9 months. But I plan on being back. This is the first episode. This is not a full show. And again, if you've never listened to Around the ATL before, I usually do a radio version where a caller can call in, talk about what they want to talk about and everything. But tonight, it's called Around the ATL Side Notes, where I'm talking about an individual topic, very singular. And in this case, it's about the Atlanta Hawks. And if you saw it on Twitter or X or Facebook or wherever you saw this at, or on YouTube, if you're subscribed, thanks for doing that. We're talking about the center position, okay? And in particular, we'll be talking about Oneyka Okongwu, all right? But before we do that, let me go ahead and kind of intro this particular episode. So the center position matters in the NBA. It always will, all right? We drafted Okongwu, and then basically have had him come off the bench his whole career, okay? Is that the best decision? For today's NBA, should we be playing him more? Should he be starting? Okay. And at the end of the day, do we need to make sure he gets a certain number of attempts per game as well? I'm going to mention that in a little bit. Now, tonight, Hawks lost by 10 points, I believe, final score was. And just one thing I have to make mention, I'm going to mention it again. And if you've never watched any of my episodes, it'll come up again. Do not tell me that Hunter can't score 20 points a game. Don't tell me he can't get 6 or 7 rebounds a night. Don't tell me he can't get 2 blocks a game. Don't tell me he can't get a steal a game. Don't tell me these things, because he's showing he can do it. He just hasn't done it in 5 years consistently. He had 7 free throws tonight. He had 4 3-pointers tonight. He had 6 rebounds. He had 2 blocks. He had a steal. He had 23 points total. Don't tell me he can't do it, because he continued to show examples that he can. Why wouldn't you want him to be able to do it all the time? Just have to mention that again. I'll talk about that later. Now, tonight, only had 8 shots tonight. He had 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. He had a block. We only had 8 field goal attempts tonight. And I'm going to get into that a little bit. Well, actually, I'll say it again. Who is our big man coach? Okay. Why don't we ever have somebody sitting in the post position? And I'm going to use myself as an example. If you've never seen any of my basketball videos that I do sometimes after I play on a Sunday night. Hit the wrong button there. Sorry about that. If you've ever watched one of my Sunday night basketball videos where I talk about that night's basketball, I play basketball still, and I talk about one of the things is posting up. And your purpose in posting up is not always to initiate a score. It's to initiate the possibility of a score, okay? And then see what happens. If you throw it into the post, a lot of things can happen. If you throw it into the post and you move, and I'm the post person, guess what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get you the ball, okay? If you cut, guess what? I can give it to you in your bread basket, you have a layup. If you slide, I can get you a wide open jumper. Got to hit it, okay? Or depending on who is actually guarding me, I can make some kind of a move, whether it be a get out my way and lay it up, or maybe get fouled. If you're a little bit taller than me, guess what? I can go this way, hook shot. I can take a dribble, turn around jumper, fade. There's a lot of things that you can do. We don't have none of those elements. Partially, that's because Clint doesn't have an offensive game to speak of, but also partially because it's not trained in any of our players to do that, including Okongwu. That's why I say we don't have a big man coach. We can't. And I'm going to get into why not getting the ball to O sometimes like that does come into play. Now, tonight, with the 8 shots, he was, 6 for 8? 5 for 8, 6 for 8, whatever it was. He had a double-double. But it ain't enough. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I just needed to mention that because it's been on my mind for a while. So let's get back into the show. And again, apologize for not being on for such a long time. I'm going to try to get used to being online again and being on the air. So, as I mentioned, only had 8 shots tonight. So I want to talk about this center position because today, the reason I'm even doing this show is because I really kind of got pushed into it. I got coerced into doing a show. I had to do this, okay? Number one, I don't disparage players, okay? I don't talk about family members of players. I don't talk about them personally, okay? Because I don't hate players. The only time I get into a player is if they're not really producing and helping the team as they should per their position and their actual ability to do what they capable of doing. Again, with Hunter, I'll go back to him. 4th round, not the 4th round, but the 4th pick in the draft. And we did things to get him 4th. And in 5 years, he's never been first, second team defense. Okay. 15 points a game career. And lots of times it's under 15 points. Doesn't rebound, doesn't block shots, doesn't steal at all. Somebody wanted to come at me. Well, nobody gets 2 steals, 3 steals every game, Chris. Nobody gets 2, 3 blocks every day. That's not actually true. You can say that to make you feel good, but that's not my point. My point is he trying to get that? Because if you're trying to get 2 or 3 steals, you're getting at least 1 steal. If you're trying to get 2 or 3 blocks, you're getting at least 1 block. 0.03 steals or 0.04 blocks is nothing. It's miniature. That's my whole point when it comes to production. You got to try to do it, especially when you have the ability to do it, and he keeps proving that he can. Same thing with scoring points. Why can't he be at 21 points a game instead of 15 points a game? That 21 helps our team win more games. And he's done it before. He's done it in the playoffs before. And he's doing it lately. So don't tell me he can't do it. Why hasn't he been doing it again? Why? But that's what I talk about. I talk about the fact that, well, shoot, I thought Bazemore was going to finish his career as a Hawk. I wanted him to. I talked big about Bazemore until that last year. At that point, he has to go. Sorry, it's a business. We got to win. Kevin, if anybody knows me from the very start of Around the ATL, you know I called him Red Mamba after the draft. That was Red Mamba. That's our guy. But he could never score more than 12 points a game for his career. Right now, he's barely at 10, if y'all been checking out lately. And once he signed that extension, I was like, we need more than just 12 points a game from Red Mamba for us to win some games here. A lot of y'all think y'all know what he did, but what I like to do is show proof. His last season as a Hawk, I went through his first 34 games that season. Well, actually the first 20, and then I went into 10 more games that he participated in still early in the season. I went through 34 games to show game by game, this is what Trey did, this is what John Collins did, this is what Kevin did, because that was the core at the time. And a whole lot more times than not, he wasn't even getting 12 points a game, folks. Okay, so that's where I come from in regards to talking about a player. But here's the deal. And I want to be very clear about this. And I'm going to go back into what I was saying. But here's some of the things I heard about Okongwu today from Hawks fans. Number one, he is a very dumb basketball player. He's ducking players. He's ducking AD. He's ducking Joel. He's ducking Seguin. How does a player duck people who are actually injured and not on the roster to play a basketball game, but he's ducking them? But anyway, yeah, he's doing well as a starter, but he's only started a few games. All right, so in that case, guess what I'm going to be doing tonight? I'm going to go through all the games that he's started in the last couple of years, game by game. All of this, though, is being said by Hawks fans about your 6th draft pick in the draft, but not gotten his chance to actually play, to actually expand his game and get better and better. He's having to do a lot of this on his own despite not getting that time. And now he's added a 3-point shot that he can hit. He can actually hit his free throws. He can actually finish in the paint, which I'm going to get into all of that too, by the way. But I just wanted to bring that up real quick. So where did I? So one of the things that I like to do as well is I show footage. So when I talk about Hunter and what we need from him, especially on the defensive side, I've done 2 shows on Hunter. If you go to IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube channel, there's 2 shows that you can watch that I did on Hunter to show, okay, well, we should be getting more from this one particular player. Here's why, though. One of the shows is called False Expectations, and the other one is called Do You Not Really Want the Best Out of a Player? And for those who don't like to read, I did video footage of the actual games, especially that Boston series. Why is he getting backdoored? Why can't he stay on his man? Why can't he fight through a screen? Tonight showed me again that he can do all that. That one block on DeRozan tonight, that steal on that one player, he can do these things. Why can't he do them every doggone night? Because that's what we need. Why do y'all just want once in a 7-game span that he does these things? Doesn't make any sense. But I showed video footage for y'all. Go check those shows out. Okay. I also wrote an article about O. And if I get time, I think I have time, I'm going to read that article. Or at least I'm going to come with some of the facts in regards to a couple of years ago, some of the things that you're talking about this young man. So just with hate and passion that you just can't stand him. Okay. So I'm going to do that tonight. So again, tonight, usually I would tell you what the phone number is to call in, but again, this is not a full show. And I do appreciate anybody who might end up tuning in tonight. Again, this was not a planned show. I didn't plan to come on the air tonight. This is kind of loosey-goosey, kind of winging it a little bit. Whoever gets to see it, hopefully you enjoy it. So that being said, first thing I want to do, I'm going to repeat some of the things that was said about Okongwu today. Well, yesterday now, since it's after midnight. He is a very dumb basketball player. He's ducking players. He's ducking people. Yeah, he's doing all right as a starter, but, he's only started 5-6 games. Bob Rathman thinks he's doing pretty good. Dominique Wilkins think he's doing pretty good, considering he's finally getting a chance to do some stuff, right? So let me pull up the article from 2022 in January. I wrote this article. And let's see if I can find it now on my own website. Here we go. Big O, the anchor we need in the lineup. I'm a dog, quote, Oneyka Okongwu. That was his quote when someone asked him, how did he do this and how did he do that in a particular game in 2022? He said, I'm a dog. And then he didn't play basically the rest of that month. It's about trust. It's about right now. Who do you trust more defending Embiid? Vucevic, Greek Freak, Bam. We need a stop of the opposing team's big man. Would you rather have Big O or Clint? You've watched our games this year. Consider last year in the playoffs, Big O only played 6 minutes a game versus the Knicks, 9 minutes a game versus Philly, and 11 minutes a game against the Bucks. But now we know O wasn't healthy. Clint guarded Joel, and Joel was dropping 30 points a game. Lopez was unstoppable, looking like Akeem Olajuwon out there. Rebounds count, yes, but rebounds are a result of certain things that's going on, mostly missed shots. Missed shots. Now, stopping the shot in the first place is what we need. Blocks are definitely important for defense, and that's why I say if we end up keeping Clint, have him come off the bench and concentrate on just getting all the rebounds and block all the shots. From last year, now remember, I wrote this article in 2022. From last year, Clint is down from 15.8 points a game to 11.8 points a game. He's only down 1 rebound a game per average. His field goal percentage is a bit lower. In the playoffs last year, he averaged 10 points a game. His free throw percentage went from 57 to 46. Okay. As of the moment, Big O is averaging 23 minutes a game, shooting 78% from the floor, getting 9.6 boards, 1.5 blocks a game, shoots 65% from the free throw line. Obviously, his free throw percentage and everything else has gone up since then. I'll get into that a little bit later. But here is something that I wanted to know. From 0 to 5 feet from the basket, Big O is shooting 86%. That's on 3.9 shots attempted from that distance. From 5 to 9 feet, he's 37%. 10 to 14 feet, he shoots 75%. As a comparison, from 0 to 5 feet, Clint shoots 61%. 7.8 attempts at that distance and hitting 4.8 shots. That's a 25 percentage points difference on shots point blank at the basket. Now, this was 2 years ago. I wrote that. Well, now, what year is this? Yeah, 2 years ago, 2022. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit because I've updated that as well, of course. So when the difference in the final score is between 3 to 7 points, that shows up. Those bunnies he misses shows up. From 5 to 9 feet, he shoots 31%. Okay. Now, my point. If Oneyka was getting 35 minutes a night, not only is he giving you lockdown defense on all possessions, he's productive offensively and he's making a difference. Over the last 5 games he has played, he has missed 6 shots total. Okay. And remember, he wasn't starting until the last 2 games. Now, again, this is a couple years ago, that streak where Clint was not playing. Okay. He finishes at the basket. He has touch around the rim. So besides getting in the alley, he could cut and give on the go. finish, and he can put in putbacks. If he has a mismatch, guess what? He can score. Hawks defense rose a level with O out there, even though Gallo, you know how Gallo be playing some defense, right? But his one-on-one defense is better than Clint, and that's just a fact. He's not great at that. He's great at help defense, but one-on-one, again, look at all the – Joel has never not scored 30 points on – well, maybe there was one time he scored 20, okay? We're getting technical. But when O was out on that floor in 2022, whole team, everything escalated. This particular game, 12 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 67% from the floor. That was against Giannis. Giannis was 2 for 12 when O was on him. 2 for 12, okay? Now, at this point, I talk about how the team has 25 losses. Season is on the line. Damon Thomas on X had mentioned can't play players as suggested based on ego or money. This is way back when. This kid, you got to play certain players, because of money. One of the reasons we won Monday, this is again, was that Nate did not allow TLC to get back in the game either and do nothing for 17 minutes. Played only 3 minutes. That's why we won that game, as far as I was concerned. O played 35 minutes, not 24. Okay. Because Gorgie Dang didn't play, because that was another big that's on our team that wasn't doing nothing. So when the momentum said keep Gallo and O in the game at the same time, John stayed on the bench rather than what usually happens, people being brought in at the wrong time. Those were crazy rotations or whatever, right? Bringing in the entire starting lineup, even though half of them weren't hitting those shots, and the bench get you back in the game. Remember that Miami game a couple years ago? Players have to contribute all the time, not just once a season like TLC. That 27-point game, never saw that again, did we? Momentum has to be paid attention to. We have to play defense. Currently, the team is 28th in defense and 2nd in offense. Again, this article is one I wrote in 2022, January. Currently, the team is 28th in defense and 2nd in offense. We've never had a problem scoring points. How many years have I been saying that? We just can't stop nobody. That's ridiculous. If you could change your defensive mindset by putting in your most consistent defensive player for major minutes, why wouldn't you do that? This also goes for Bogey coming off the bench, so he can't shoot us out of games. Remember, let's see, he went from 16 a game to 12, 47% from the floor to 41, and 43% from 3 to 35. Let him come off the bench and go 4 from 9 from 3 instead of 4 for 16 from the field. You can't just let a player shoot you out the game. How many times have I said that? And it still keeps happening, right? Now, on this particular night, last night, Big O had 17 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 5 blocks, 7 from 9 from the free throw line. That was playing Cat the whole second half. Cat only scored 5 points in that game. He was frustrated. Big O was snapping at him, too. Did you see the team pick up his defense after that block on Cat? Then John's block? It's not a fluke or an accident. He needs to be on the floor. Go with the momentum. Now, that's an article that I wrote 2 years ago, okay, about Big O. 2 years ago, I wrote that article. It is still applicable. He had 8 shots, though, tonight, okay? So right now, O is averaging 17 and 7 with 2 blocks a game with CC being out. Now, to some people, that's bad in the eyes of everybody. Somehow, I don't know how, but that's bad. That's not good. 17 a night he's been averaging. Now, tonight he didn't get that, obviously. Again, he only had 8 shots. But having someone who can also hit an open 3, that's bad too. Today's NBA, having somebody who can hit at the top of the key or at the side, the corner. When was the last time Clint hit a 3? Anybody? Bueller, right? O can also finish at the basket. He can hit his free throws. All right. So before I go into some more breakdown on O, I do want to bring Clint up a little bit. So again, if you've never watched or heard of Around the ATL before, make sure you go to imtnworldwideradio.com or you go to the YouTube page, IMTN Worldwide Radio. All kind of shows are on there, all kind of different subjects. So check it out. Okay. I did do a show on Clint as well. There was a time last year where he was injured, he was out, and the team was doing things. And I said, well, is Clint going to be really the difference when and if he does return? Okay, go watch that episode all the way through. You see what I'm talking about. It was from January 5th, 2023. That was last year. Okay. So then I asked the question, as a center, what is important? Boards, blocks, scoring points in the paint, post defense. What is important? What's important? What's important? Okay. So let's see if I can switch this. I haven't done it in a while. And I wish I had some time to get some video, but I just didn't have time today. Again, this was an impromptu show, so I apologize for that. So how important is the center position? So when you look at the center position overall in the NBA, you have different facets. You have the ones who still are primarily there for rebounding. That's all they do. Okay, fine. You got the ones who can hit a shot. They're offensive oriented all the way through. Then you got the half and halves. They could do some offense. They could do some defense. Some are a little bit more prone on being able to pass the ball a little bit. Some are a little bit better at blocking shots. They get 2 blocks a game plus, right? In today's NBA, you got to be able to do a couple of things. You got to be able to, on the pick and roll, be able to defend the roll person or the pick person at the top of the key. You can't just let them shoot jumpers, right? And then on the flip side, you need to be able to hit that shot. If you're open, you don't need to be passing to somebody else. You need to be taking the shot. It needs to be launched, right? And or you need to be proficient in the paint. And one thing I've always mentioned about Clint, if he's getting 5 offensive rebounds a game, why doesn't he have 18 points every night? Especially in the games where we're losing games by 4, 5, 6 points or 1 point a game. That also catches up to us a lot too, unfortunately, right? So currently, there are 2 Atlanta Hawks that are in the top 10 in least points per possession in isolation, minimum 50 possessions. So that basically means if you're in isolation with someone, you're probably not giving up points in this particular instance. There's 2 Hawks in the top 10. One of them is JJ, believe it or not. Now, tonight you couldn't say that because wasn't good. The other one, 9th, is Okongwu. So we got some Hawks who can play some isolation. And they do it more than not, which is why they're ranked as high as they are. That's kind of a big deal. Shout out to the NBA District on Instagram for that. But what have I been saying for a while? When it comes down to it, Clint isn't good at that kind of defense on the one-on-one side. More than not, that player is going to score. He isn't a stopper in the post. You saw it tonight. Blocked the Drummond straight up. And for the most part, he held Vucevic. Vucevic wasn't shooting a great percentage at a certain point, and all the times, some of the times he did score, it wasn't because Oneyka was on him. It was because of a switch, unfortunately, or it was a putback on the post. But it wasn't just for him posting up and getting buckets. It wasn't that at all. I watched the game. Okay. Clint gives up a lot of layups. Centers, guards, small forwards, doesn't matter. He gets laid up on an awful lot. That's why our second chance points are so high. That's why our points in the paint be high sometimes, right? And also those jumpers that he allows because he will not come out the paint. The thing that Dominique always complains about for the other team, Clint does it all the time with us. The one thing that O does, even though he overhelps sometimes as well, because that's what Clint does a lot, he coming all the way up to the three-point line. O is quick enough to recover lots of those times. And that helps out on that particular statistic as well. Now, rebounds, Clint leads the league, like I said, in offensive rebounds. And again, we need him to be able to score, but he misses those bunnies more times than not. Those come back to haunt us. Or if he does get the rebound and he decides to try to pass it because he's not a great passer, he gets flustered or whatever it is, he ends up turning the ball over. Okay. But really, again, Clint should be getting like 18, 19 a night just because he gets 5, 6 offensive rebounds every night. Every night. Okay. Blocks, Clint averages 1.5 blocks a game, has 72 total. O has 58 blocks. Clint is ranked 12th right now in blocks per game. O is ranked 22. A lot of that is just minutes. I believe if O had the minutes, he'd be top 12 in blocks as well. He has a proficiency for doing it. Offensively, again, O is top 10 in points per possession as the pick and roll screener. He's 8th. John Collins happens to be right above him at 7. Man, wouldn't that be great if they were still playing again? And with JJ. Derek Lively, by the way, is 10th. Okay, shout out again to NBA District for that particular stat. So again, we should be doing more pick and roll because he can either pick and pop or as the roller, he finishes his shots at a higher rate than Clint. Okay, and that's just a fact. How do I know that? This season, O hit 72% from 0 to 5 feet from the basket. JJ is the next highest on the Hawks at 65%. Clint is 61%. And that's on 7 attempts a game. So those bunnies he keeps missing, again, comes into play, especially when we're down by 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points. Look at the games we've lost by 5 points or less this year. Think about that. Okay. O hits 44% of his shots from 20 to 24 feet from the basket. Those are those long 2s and 3s. He's 34% from 3 this year. That means, again, you can play him inside and outside if you wanted to. But again, because we don't have no big man coach, we don't have no formulation of him going inside with the purpose of doing something in there. It's usually off of a roll, right? Sometimes he gets it in there, depending on who's out there and stuff, and he gets the ball or whatever. But because he is proficient at finishing at the rim, he should get more touches in the actual post. Because again, it's not always about doing something initially. It can still be a matter of motion. And we have enough shooters on our team, whether it be Trey, Bogey, DJ, Bay, whoever it might be on the floor that can hit a shot. Do something, move, help, let him pass the ball because he's a great passer. Same thing with JJ. He should post more. The only one who really kind of reaches out to try to post a little bit because of matchups is Bay. Okay. Sometimes he gets a little out of control, but at least he tries. But we should have a formulation of post plays in our system, and we don't have it. We don't have it. Now, O hits 80% from the free throw line. CC hits 64% from the free throw line. It's another reason why O shouldn't be in the fourth quarter. He can't hit you now. Again, oh, well, Chris, what about tonight? He didn't know this. He shoots 80% for the season. Trey missed a free throw tonight. Happens. But he's hitting 80%. 64 and 80% is a big gap, folks. Sorry, it just is. Okay. In 25 minutes a game right now, O is getting 10.7 boards. CC in 25 minutes a game is getting 11 points, 10 boards. So again, let's up those minutes for O and see what he can do. Right now, we're seeing that. He's averaging 17 and 7. I think he can get even more if he's getting the ball enough. Which brings me to the actual game. So, because someone said, well, he's been starting, but it's only a few games, it's only 5 or 6 games, he's doing all right, but yeah, it's just a couple of games, it's just a couple of games. All right. So let's go through some games. Let's go through some games in 2022 where he played, okay? And we're going to go through his touches. We're going to go through the minutes he played. We're going to see what kind of production he had on a game-by-game basis, okay? So the first game was November 25th, 2022 against the Houston Rockets. If this is the same game I'm thinking about, you already know. Nobody really got the ball in that game. That's the game we blew 15-point lead. The first of 3 straight games that we blew 15 or more leads. I don't want to get into that because I'm going to get mad. My blood pressure will go up. But anyway, he played 33 minutes that night. He had 4 points. He had 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks in that particular game. Okay. And strangely enough, he had no field goal attempts in that game, but he hit some free throws. So what if he had had some field goal attempts in that particular game? Yeah, we lost that game, by the way. Against Miami Heat, November 27th, he had 6 points, 4 rebounds, had a steal, 2 blocks. Okay. He had a couple of shots in that game. He had 7 shots in that particular game. The next game, December 12th, 2022, Memphis. Played 28 minutes. He had 6 points again, 10 boards, an assist, 2 steals, a block. Okay. Didn't shoot well that night, 2 for 8. Charlotte, December 16th, 2022. Played 23 minutes that night, had 7.7 boards, 2 blocks again. Pay attention to this now, because this is all important. He was 2 for 2, had two shots that game. He hit both of them. And that was it. Played 23 minutes. The next night, against the Chicago Bulls, which we just played tonight, December 21st, 2022, right before Christmas, he played 40 minutes in that game. He had 18 points, 11 boards, 1 assist, 5 blocks. He was 8 for 14 that night. The next night, again, he went from 40 minutes to 21 minutes the next night. He had 6 points, 8 boards, a steal, and that was it. He had 5 shots. He was 3 for 5 that night. That was against the Pacers. Let me click this off because I don't know what that is. The next night, Brooklyn Nets, 37 minutes. So we went from 40 minutes to 21 minutes to 37 minutes. So let me say this real quick on the record. Again, it's not sometimes all about you getting shots, but you're getting touches. You're involved in the game. You're involved in the offense. You know you're not coming out for a stretch, so you can actually play. Where you're always on pins and needles to where you're playing for 2 minutes, and then you're out for 5 minutes, and then you play for 4 minutes, and then you may be in for another 3 minutes. You can't establish any kind of rhythm, especially if you happen to be a post player. Okay? You got to get involved. You got to, I'm calling for the ball. Give me the ball right here, right? Let me pass the ball out. Let me elbow somebody. Let me get some hits in here, right? So he went from 40 minutes to 21 minutes to the Brooklyn game where he played 37 minutes. Guess what? 18 points, 13 boards, 3 blocks. He was 6 from 12 from the field. The next night, 43 minutes in the game. This was against the Lakers, December 30th. 17 points, 8 boards, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 8 from 11 from the field. He was 72% from the floor that night. The next night, Golden State, January 2nd, 2023. 38 minutes, 16 points, 12 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He had 14 shots in that game. Because he's in the game, he's involved in what's going on, and he produces as such, as most good players do. See those first couple of games I mentioned? He had 0 field goal attempts, 7, 8, 2. Then he went to 14, then went to 5, then went to 12, 11, and 14. The next game is Sacramento, January 4th, 2023. 32 minutes played, 8 points, 7 boards, 1 assist, 1 block. He had 5 shots in that game. Next game, against the Lakers again, 28 minutes, 10 points, 7 boards, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block. Sure does get a lot of blocks, doesn't it? Had 6 shots in that game, but went 5 for 6, 83% from the field. Had 6 shots. Give him 14. The next game against the Clippers, 35 minutes, 5 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 3 blocks. Had 6 shots in that game. The next game against the Milwaukee Bucks, January 11, 2023. No, I don't know if Giannis played this particular game. But in that game, he played 33 minutes, had 7 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks, had 7 shots in that game. He was 3 for 7 in that game, by the way. The next game against Indiana, 39 minutes. So he was in that game for sure. 18 points, 20 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks. Had 12 shots in that game. He was 9 for 12, 75%. Very next night against Toronto Raptors, January 14th, 37 minutes, 10 points, 13 boards, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was 5 for 10 from the field. Next night was, am I missing something here? Miami Heat, January 16th, 2023. 27 minutes, 8 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal. Is that blocks? Oh, 1 block, I should say. He only had 3 shots in that game. He hit all 3 of his shots, but he only had 3 shots in that whole game. So again, those 27 minutes, he went from 37 minutes to 27 minutes. 27 minutes, if you break it up the wrong way, you don't have a lot of meaning in there. And he probably didn't finish the 4th in that game either. Next game was January 18th against the Dallas Mavericks. Played 25 minutes, had 11 points, 5 boards, had an assist, had a block. Wait a minute, what is this? Yeah, had a block. 4 for 6 from the field. Last game, Boston Celtics, April 9th, 2023. These were all starts, by the way. My bad, I forgot. These were all starting, okay? All of these are starting. Think about what I mentioned, all those productive nights that he had per minutes and being used, and then per minutes and not being used. This last game, 26 minutes, 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 4 for 7 from the field. Actually, no blocks, but he was 4 for 7 from the field. Those were all of his starts, the 2022-2023 season. Now, so far this year, for the 2023-2024 season, here's what he's done so far. Toronto, December 15th, 2023, played 33 minutes, 14 points, 11 boards, 1 block. He was 6 for 7 from the field, but only had 7 shots. The next night against Cleveland, December 16th, this was a back-to-back, had 32 minutes, 16 points, only had 4 rebounds. He did have a block. He was 7 for 12 from the field. Okay, hit a couple of threes. I didn't mention the threes. I should have mentioned the threes, but I don't care about that now. The next night was January 10th, 2024, against the Philadelphia 76ers. 36 minutes played, 19 points, 11 boards, 1 assist, 2 blocks. 7 for 10 from the field. The next night against the Clippers, 34 minutes, 18 points, 5 boards, 1 block, 8 for 10 from the field. Boston, February 7th, 36 minutes, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 7 for 11 from the field, 63%. Against the Boston Celtics, the eventual Eastern Conference champions more than likely. Philadelphia again, February 9th, 34 minutes, had 21 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 9 for 12 from the field, 75%. Houston, just saw that game, 32 minutes, only had 11 points, 7 boards, 1 assist, 3 blocks though. Didn't have a good shooting night, 4 for 10 from the field. And then, of course, tonight, 33 minutes, 11 points, 12 boards, 1 assist, 1 block, 5 for 8 from the field, only has 8 shots, 62% from the field. Those are his starts so far. So again, the attributes of anybody who's playing, and there's somebody who finishes at the basket at a proficient rate, you should get them the ball a lot more than someone who's not hitting any shots. Because see, tonight, unfortunately, you only had a couple of people hitting shots tonight. And that was basically Bogey and Dre. Everybody else is missing everything. Trey was missing shots. DJ was missing shots. And yeah, DJ had 6 turnovers tonight. I think they scored on every single one of them, unfortunately. Okay. Jalen wasn't hitting on nothing. He wasn't really shooting, but he wasn't hitting on nothing that he was trying to shoot either. Right? Sadiq, Didn't hit no threes. He was over 5 from 3, right? Trey was 2 for 10 from 3. DJ was 2 for 8 from 3. So guess what can ebb and tide those threes? Posting up a little bit more. Oh, well, Vucevic is too big. Drummond is too big. So what? Post up anyway. Post up anyway and cut. Because one thing O is good at is passing the ball. That's one thing he can do. Him and Jalen needs to play some in and out, pick and pop. They need to do some more of that. But again, we don't have no coach on the bench to be able to teach them any of that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it irks me as far as that goes, because we don't have enough to compete in the East because of our record. Our record tells us that. But we have enough to do more than just stay afloat at the same time too, if our rotations were better, if the lineup was adjusted. And that's why I've been talking about basically all season. I've been talking that for the last couple of years. And that's why I've been saying that, of all people, we drafted him. And for all the things that he can do and the things that Clint unfortunately can't do after a decade, there's no reason to continue to say it should be this when it should be that. O can hit a 3. That helps. He's a threat at 3. He's a threat at 3 enough for people to have to guard him. Nobody ever has to guard Clint from that distance because he's never going to be out there. But people technically don't have to guard Clint in the post either because he's not going to hit that shot most of the time, unless it's a dunk, unless it's a lob. But some of those lobs he misses too. Y'all seen it, right? And that's why I say, that 0 to 5 feet mark, if it was me and missing those shots all the time, I'm not getting picked up for the next game because I'm not finishing in the post, right? I got the arm length, I got the wingspan, and I can't this is a layup, right? Clint regularly misses those in close games. O misses those a lot less than he does, and he has the proof to show it. But he also hits those free throws. He finishes in the paint. He can hit that 3. He's a great rebounder. He plays defense. He does all of those things. Yeah, he's undersized, but so was Charles Barkley. Chris, you're comparing him to Charles Barkley? Stop it. I'm not. But Charles was undersized. He was 6'4" doing what he did for 15 plus years, right? Draymond Green is undersized, doing what he has done for 15 plus years. Y'all like to make excuses, some of you. I don't make excuses. I look at facts. I look at what's actually happening in a game-to-game. But did you listen to all those starts I quoted of what O has done as a starter per the minutes and per the actual touches that he's getting? Think about if that was happening all the time and what we'd be able to actually get out of him. But we continue to take him out the game and put Clint in. And if we had Clint coming off the bench and say, Clint, we need you to just concentrate on getting all the rebounds. We just need you to get all the rebounds, Clint, coming off the bench. Our bench will be deeper all of a sudden. If Hunter finishes the season the rest of the year, our bench is deeper all of a sudden. Isn't it? I've been saying that for a year and a half. I would respect Hunter more if he was coming off the bench. Also, it limits the knee issue. He's about to not play 60 games for the 3rd out of 5 years, basically, y'all. Can't help if he's never on the floor, right? That matters in regards to Hunter. Again, we have some pieces, and they're just not placed well. And if it's like if it's like Damon said, Damon Thomas on X, Tone Gully, I should say, if it's a matter of you're only playing these guys because of the contracts, that's not winning basketball. It just isn't. It just isn't. If you can bench Russell Westbrook, a Hall of Famer, and have him coming off the bench as a primary person, you could do that with any player if you're trying to win. What are the Clippers doing? They are winning games. Aren't they? Aren't they? How much Al Horford is making a year? He's coming off the bench. Sorry, he is. Blocking shots, hitting threes, did it to us. Right? You need those type of players. It's all about placement. And at a certain point, we have to just dig in and say, Clint doesn't need to be starting for the Hawks anymore. You decided to keep him. You didn't trade him off. So what do we need to do to win? Because we're competing better with O out there. But we still don't have enough. Since our organization decided not to do anything, we still don't have enough. We don't. We don't. Sorry, we don't. So if a couple of people have bad games, it's harder to overlap that because we don't have the depth. Again, I'll repeat this since this is my first show in a while. We didn't replace John's production. No matter what you think, yeah, it was his worst season, but you still didn't replace his 13-7 and 1 block shot and his post defense. You didn't replace any of that. Not as a starter or coming off the bench. Why is that important? Because JJ starting means JJ not coming off the bench anymore. Bay starting means nobody. That Bay was scoring 11, 12 points a game off the bench last year. JJ was getting you 7, 8, 9, 10 points off the bench a lot of times last year, plus his boards and everything else. That's 2 people, productive people off of your bench that you don't have no more. And then you don't have John. That's 3 right there. You refuse to play AJ. Whatever his issues were, after those issues were done, he should have been playing again. He was a rising star shooting 40% from 3. And excuse me for my speech, but I'm exhausted. I worked all day today. But AJ is also not playing, and he scored you 8, 9, 10 points a game last year, plus 2 game winners. Pure shooter. What do we have problem doing sometimes? Scoring points. Our team gives up 123 points a game. We score 120. That's why we're losing, folks. We can't stop nobody. We can't outscore nobody either, unfortunately. Not enough. Not like the Pacers do, but that's another story. So that's 4 spots right there that you're missing, production-wise. You also have the Matthews brothers trying to replace what the Holiday brothers were giving you. Holidays were giving you 10 points a game average for the games that they played. Matthews is giving you half of that sometimes. And then you got Trent who's giving you nothing. That's a lot of positions, guys. We're not as good as we were last year. That's why we're losing. We ended up 41-41 because we had enough talent to make 41-41 happen. We did nothing to replace any of that. You didn't even play Patty. You didn't play Bruno. Bruno's could have been. What did Bruno do tonight? Bruno could have been producing for us all season long, and we just let him languish on the bench, even though we were just battling people who had size on us. Tonight, let's see. He had 4 points. He had 7 boards, 4 offensive rebounds. He didn't have any blocks or anything tonight. He was 2 for 5 from the field. Bruno could be helping us. But instead, we keep putting in Garrison. We keep putting in West. We can't keep doing that. You literally had Wesley Matthews, Garrison Matthews, and Trent Forrest, 3 position players, basically averaging 7 points a game for the season. How does that work? The math don't math, folks. You see what I'm saying? So we didn't do anything. So the next best thing to do is to use the talent that we got. We've had Kobe and Seth languishing over there in College Park, dropping buckets, 30 points a night, 25 points a night, rebounds, assists, the whole 9 yards. But we're so good, we can't use them. We don't have no injuries, right? That's basically what we said. But the truth is we've had injuries and they still didn't play. We've had people going into huge slumps like Bay and they still didn't play. How do you formulate an excuse for that? You can't. Kobe can play some defense. Guess what we needed? Defense. Seth can move. Why can't we give them an opportunity to close up some of those holes because of our over-helping? We can't rotate. We can't switch properly. Let those young kids get out there and run around a little bit and get in front of some people like Kobe did the other night. Y'all saw what he did out there for his few minutes out there. Locking down some people. Why can't we have that? Because we're not good enough as is. Let the kids play. What's the worst that can happen? But nobody can answer that question. All they could do is shout these mean things to Okongwu. He's a dumb player. He ain't all that. He's a dumb player. I saw that. That's why I did the show. I saw that particular statement. I had to do a show at that point. He's a dumb player. That's what you're saying? That's what you say when you go to the games? That's what you're saying? Really? He's a dumb player? You see what else they said? He's ducking AD, Joel Seguin. He didn't duck AD. AD didn't play that Lakers game. Joel, he's hurt. We all know he's hurt. How do you duck a player that's injured? He didn't say, oh, my ankle hurts or I got pneumonia, as I like to call it. Joel didn't play. If Joel was playing and then Okongwu said, oh, I can't play tonight. I got personal reasons. Then you can maybe say he's ducking you. I've never had again, if all of a sudden I'm playing in the game and I'm playing well, right? And then I hurt my ankle and I have to come out that game, whoever is playing me, I'm not going to say all of a sudden, oh, you're ducking me, even though I'm benching myself because I can't play no more, but you're ducking me. That's stupid. It's stupid to say. I'm sorry. It's a stupid statement. It's the worst statement I've heard all year. Maybe this decade. And then I just showed you proof of all the players that he's played against producing. Y'all just saw him play Boston, right? Y'all didn't see that? I don't get it. I don't get it sometimes. I don't get it. And he's played enough as a starter, and he's produced enough as a starter or a primary when he's getting more minutes. You've seen him do it. You've seen all the things that he's able to do. And you still discount all of that, and you're still thinking that Clint is going to all of a sudden hit jumpers all of a sudden and hit his free throws all of a sudden and finish in the paint all of a sudden. He's not. So why do we keep putting him in that position? Are we trying to win or not? I actually have a show. Let me see the title of it. I actually have, I can't pull it up without, well, let me see if I can pull it up. I actually have a show called, let's see if I can find it and not accidentally start it by accident. Around the ATL side notes. It's called, if I can find it. Do you want to win or almost win? I have an episode where I talk about DJ, Trey, and John Collins. If you remember that picture of them in Summer League, I actually did a show where I did an article about them as a group. And actually, if you go to the IMTN Worldwide Radio website, you can go and read that actual article. It's called, I'll pull it up real quick. Actually, I think I can pull it into the chat so y'all can see it. We can't be a one-dimensional team and expect to win, not when we have DJ and Trey on the team. Let me see if I can post that. I'm going to post some of these in the chat before I go. I'm going to do it right now. So where is the chat? Did I open it up? I didn't even open up the chat. Sorry, guys. So let's see. Oops. So I'm going to put these in the chat. Please read articles. So the first one is the one I just mentioned about the group before everything started happening last summer and stuff. The next one is about O. So I'll post that one real quick. Let me see if I can find it. So check these articles out. I wrote these both a year and a half ago. Big O anchor here. This is the article that I read earlier, so y'all can check this out. Hopefully the links work on your side. And I'm getting used to being on the air again. I'm trying to get through this. So read those two articles if you get a chance. Let's see right there. So you go to the chat room and just click those links. Those are two articles. Again, though, if you've never watched Around the ATL before, go back and listen and watch the shows that I directly talk about some of the players in a way that, again, I don't disparage. I don't think there's any room for that, but I do talk on the basis of is the player helping the team per their skill set, and could they be helping more, or can they help at all at a certain point? Okay, so that's the thing that matters. Are we trying to win a championship or not? Like at a certain point, that's what it all comes down to, right? So the two shows about Hunter, Do You Not Want the Best of the Player and False Expectations? Go check those out. The one about Clint is called Is Clint Really the Difference? You can go watch the one about Kevin Huerter. Why now? Why not last season? You know, he averaged 12 points a game for his career as a Hawk, then went to Sacramento and scored 15 points a game. Then the next season, which is this current season, he's barely getting 10 sometimes. Okay. Once he got that extension, we needed more than 12 points a game from Kevin. That Miami series, if Kevin has scored 17 points a game instead of like 8 points a game that series, the Hawks still beat the Heat, even though John was hurt, Gallo was hurt, Bogey was hurt, Trey was getting triple teamed, and Hunter was getting his 21 a game. We beat the Miami Heat if we had gotten something out of Kevin. We beat the Boston Celtics last year if we had gotten 20-something points from Hunter last year. He scored 16, but if we got 21, 22 from him, we beat Boston. Or if he had just slowed down Brown or Tatum, just slow him down. But shoot, what's that guard's name? I just forgot his name. It's a weird name. The point guard, the backup point guard that Boston had last year, Brogdon. He's getting layups on Hunter. Hunter is getting held up on screens. He can't get around the screen by Marcus Smart. He can't get around that screen. He's just stuck. Wide open three. Wide open three. Well, I have the video. Let me see. I might still have the video of that. I might not have deleted it. Let's see. I haven't done this in a while, so let's see if I can find it. Man, this is going to be tough because I can barely see these. Trey game winner. That was the Boston. I might not have. Yeah, I might not have. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Let's see. Tatum. I'll just watch the show. I can't find these. I don't think I saved it. But there was one in particular where Smart was just doing a screen, and instead of just tossing him aside or moving around the screen, he let himself be held up by the screen to let a wide open 3-point happen. There was one time Brown backdoored him. He's over here in the corner. I don't know why wasn't he on his man, and the ball swung and Brown just laid it up like it wasn't nothing. It was the virtual Olay defense basically. And it happened again. It was always Hunter's guy. That hurt us. Trey was helping us win that series. Playoff Trey is dangerous. Just needs this one little bit of help. Hunter is that guy. Hunter should be that guy. Why don't y'all want Hunter to be that guy? Why don't y'all want Clint to be that guy? Clint should be hitting threes. Why can't Clint hit a three? Why can't Clint hit a 10-foot bump a three? All the times he be in the paint and he can't just turn around and fade just for but he's passing the ball out, and lots of times those ends up being turnovers too. But also we got to talk about momentum. That jump hurts because of that. I went through 20 some odd, well, actually, how many games was that? I think I went through, let's see if I can count them off real quick. I don't think I deleted the page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. I've gone through 25 games that O has started. And I gave you the minutes that he played, the shots that he was given, and what he produced. I do not think, after going through all of that, you can tell me that you would still prefer Clint getting that production, or as far as the minutes go, rather than when I just told you what he did with the same amount of time. Because he can actually hit a shot. And now he can hit a three. Why wouldn't you just want that aspect more so than anything else? That's the difference in some games right there. If you utilize it, if you give him the ball, if you play him, if you use him, the usage matters. Just like it did for John. John went from 15 shots a game to 9 shots a game sometimes. It's going to matter. It matters because it's not just the ability to score; it's the ability to be in the game as a player. Again, it's a rhythm thing. It's a feel of the game. It's just like in football. They always talk about getting that first hit as a running back, right? You get that first catch as a wide receiver. You get that first, catch or hit. You're tackled or whatever. The quarterback even. That first time he gets tackled, okay, now I'm in the game. Now my blood's flowing, heart's pumping, right? Baseball is different because you're playing 162 games. You're playing every freaking day. You are either on or not, basically, right? And you have a longer time to get in and out of a slump because of that too. 162 games, 9 innings a game, it's a lot. But in basketball and football, you have this minute amount of time, really. A 48-minute game, and now you got players who they're not even playing 30 minutes barely now. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, okay? And that's why I say O should be playing more. He should be starting. He should be getting the minutes. At worst, he should be closing every fourth quarter. When Clint comes back, he should never play the fourth quarter again the rest of the season. We're going to have a shot to do anything. Okay? That's just being real. 1, he can't hit a free throw. 2, he can't score. If everybody knows the only way that Clint can score is getting the lob, they're going to play that. That's not the only way that O can score. That's an advantage that you need to take advantage of. Advantage. And O can actually hit his free throws. He's an 80% free throw shooter. But he also, on top of that, can play defense. He can rebound. He can block shots, play passing lanes, all of that. And him and JJ on the floor at the same time, again, they're a great tandem. They work very well together most nights. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Stop disparaging players. They don't need to be told that they're dumb or stupid. They don't need to have their parents talked about or their kids or their wives or girlfriends. Stop doing that. It's disrespectful. If you don't like a player because of how they play, that's much different than just not liking the player. It's a completely different thing. A player can respect you telling them that they're playing bad and they need to improve on something. What they can't respect you on is calling them dumb for some stupid reason. You get it? I'll talk to y'all another time. Make sure you go visit IMTN Worldwide Radio. It's right there. .com. You can visit, of course, the YouTube page, which you're on right now if you get to watch this whenever you do. IMTN Worldwide Radio, and just type in around the ATL. You see all the episodes. You can follow me on X, Intellect ATL. I guess I could be pulling that off. I haven't done this in a long time, so I'm forgetting. Usually I would just click all of this. There's all the Twitter pages right there. Also, my co-host Jordan 23 at ATL. You can also follow where is it at? There it is. The YouTube page, as I mentioned. So definitely follow that because, again, I will be on more because I feel better. Again, trying to battle symptoms and going through doctor stuff and MRIs and all this kind of stuff and just not knowing with cancer and what happened to my dad. I just wasn't trying to be online a whole heck of a lot as far as broadcasting. It takes a lot to broadcast. It takes a lot to pull up a show, especially last minute. I work every day and my job is not easy. Okay. It's a corporate job. It is not easy. And trying to do a show a week, it was just too much. It was just too draining. But I plan on coming back. This is my first, just to get the kinks out and everything. Hopefully, my co-host, he was actually in Las Vegas during the Super Bowl weekend, so he'll have some great stories next time we can get him on the show. But hopefully, you enjoyed this little bit. Again, if you're an Atlanta fan, we talk Falcons, we talk Hawks, we talk Braves, we talk Atlanta United, we talk Atlanta Dream. We're going to talk the Atlanta Vibe, the new volleyball team that's a professional team in Atlanta. Of course, we talk college sports as well. Like I said, UGA, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all the other schools that are in the state of Georgia. We have a good time doing it. We have some great interviews that we have had over the years. Dominique Wilkins, John Collins before he left, Bob Rathman, Steve Holman. They both represent the Hawks, as you know. Jerome Derinovich, who was the former host of both Hawks and Braves Live. We've had Marvin Freeman on the show. We've had Angel McCautry on the show before she left the Dream. We've had a lot of different people on the show over the years. So again, unfortunately, this past year, 2023, wasn't the greatest, but I plan on catching up eventually. So that being said, hopefully y'all tune in next time. Those who do get to watch this after the fact, I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to y'all another time. Peace.